This lesson is a lesson about basic English grammar. Okay, so the first thing, why are we going to look at basic English grammar? Okay, so in order to understand grammar in another language, you have to know your own language's grammar. And most people, especially who are native English speaking, at sort of older ages, we've all forgotten our grammar. So we're going to go through all the basics of English grammar in this lesson. Now, do we need a high level of grammar? Not really at this level, where we're just trying to learn elementary Arabic grammar. And we're just going to do a few simple examples. And in this lesson, we're going to cover all of the basic grammar that you're going to need for this elementary level of Arabic grammar. And the idea of this particular lesson is to give you a very quick overview. However, when we get onto specific grammatical terms that we need to know for Arabic, we will recap, i.e. go over all of these again within the relevant lesson. So this is like a quick one-off, so don't get worried and think that this is tons of grammar. It's too much to take in. The idea here is to give you an idea, an overall idea of basic grammar, rather than for you to try and memorize this or learn it. So absolute basics then. So we'll break this down into parts of sentences and then a small description with a small example. So a noun. A noun generally is the name of things. It could be peoples and places, etc. So normally the name of something. Example, I am going to the mosque. The mosque or mosque is a name of something physical. So that's a noun. Then we have the pronoun, used instead of a noun to avoid repetition. Hamza went to the mosque and he prayed. So instead of saying Hamza went to the mosque and Hamza prayed, we substitute Hamza's name with a pronoun called he. A proper noun is a type of noun, the actual names of peoples and places. So Hamza lived in Mecca. So both Hamza and Mecca are proper nouns. Prepositions relates one thing to another in a sentence, and it's normally related across space and time. I am going to the mosque. So to is a preposition. Articles, so there's two articles normally in English, the indefinite article and the definite article. Indefinite articles are normally like a or an. A book, so we're saying it's an indefinite book, i.e. we're not talking about a definite book. So a is called the indefinite article. Then we have definite article. In English it's the word the, so the book makes a book, changes it into the book, so we're talking about a definite or a specific book. So the is the definite article. Conjunctions join words or sentences together. The boy and the girl, so the word and is a conjunction. Interjection, a short word showing emotion or feeling, like oh boy, so you're calling out but it's showing a lot of emotions. And a verb simply is an action or a doing word. I am going to the mosque, so the word going there is the verb. Now let's talk about what we call the subject. The subject of a sentence is simply what is really being talked about, i.e. the main theme of the sentence. Everything else is normally known as the predicate. The subject is normally what performs the action in the sentence, and if the subject is actually performing the action, then we say that the sentence is in the active voice. Okay, so simple example here, the teacher taught the students. So the main theme of the sentence is the teacher. We're focused on what the teacher did. So he's the subject, and then everything else, i.e. taught the students, is the predicate. The verb. The verb is the doing word or the action being performed. Here's the same sentence again, the teacher taught the students. So taught is the verb, it's a doing word, an action. The object. The object, i.e. the object of a sentence, denotes somebody or something involved in the subject's performance of the verb and is normally part of the predicate in the active voice. So i.e. the object is a thing that the action normally is being done upon. So the teacher taught the students. Here the students are the object. They're receiving the action of being taught. And the object here is within the predicate. Now we come on to what's called the active and the passive voice. When the subject is the doer of the verb is in the active voice. When the subject is the receiver of the action, the verb is said to be in the passive voice. So some examples here will help explain this. Here we have the cat ate the mouse. So this is the active voice. The cat is the subject and is the actor of the verb, i.e. doing the verb. The mouse is the object of the sentence, and the verb ate is in the active voice. Then we're going to swap this around. The mouse was eaten by the cat. So this is called the passive voice, because the mouse is the subject of the sentence but is the target of the action. So in the active voice, the subject is doing the action, and normally in the passive voice, the subject is receiving the action. And that active voice and passive voice is really applied to the verb, the term. The passive voice then in a bit more detail. So the passive voice is used mainly when the doer of the action is not known, or it is not important enough to mention, or the object of the verb is more important and hence is made the subject of the sentence, hence taking the focus of the sentence. Again, some examples will help to explain this. So example 1 here, someone stole my wallet. So this is active because we know someone did the action. Now if we drop the someone, then we've got my wallet was stolen. So here the word stolen is in the passive voice. Okay, and the reason it's swapped into the passive voice is because we now don't know who did the action. Second example, he gave me the painting. Here it's active because he is the focus, i.e. he is the one doing the action. Now the painting, which was the object, we've now effectively raised it to the status of the subject. So here we say the painting was given to me by him. So now the verb give or given is in the passive voice because the painting now is the focus of the sentence. Now we're going to look at something called persons, genders and numbers. So a gender, most people know, is male or female, and a number in grammar is the number of people being talked about. So you've got a single person, and in Arabic we have a dual term, which means exactly two people, and then we have plural, which is more than two people. In English you don't have the dual, you only have single and plural. So if we're talking then in what we call the first person, so we need to know what these persons are all about.